It's like everything that you talked about is, when you see this guy has this or this much money or lives in this really nice home or these beautiful kids or beautiful wife, and you start to feel like, well, I don't have that. I can't measure up. So a lot of it is just kind of measuring yourself. Wouldn't you say? Like, how do you measure yourself?
I think yes, yes, and so when you said that, what came up for me is people have a lot of fears. The fears that I'm not enough, fears that I don't have enough, which to me takes you into more of a scarcity mindset versus an abundance mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really blessed. I think I sent you the video. I got invited to go speak at the University of South Africa. And part of that process was I did get to go walk with cheetahs. But also part of it was I got to really spend some amazing time with some of the most centered people in the world from Zambia. And these are people who they had me come and talk about entrepreneurship where their micro loans are $32 US. So they're getting loans for $32. And they hear the story of being $600,000 in debt. Like literally, they're like saying, hey, when I was younger, I used to walk on Venus. I just got on a rocket. I used to walk. Like they couldn't wrap their brains around that. But what they had was many of them had an abundance mindset because they defined success very differently than a lot of entrepreneurs define success. And a lot of entrepreneurs, in my experience, I was one of those. I was only successful if I got to a $20 million company because that was the number to sell in my space. That was the only definition of success. It wasn't $20 million at a EBITDA of 30%. It was just $20 million, which helped get me into debt because I was driving towards an unattainable number based upon the model I was running. When I was with the folks in Zambia, they were heart-centered people. They were about family and community and connecting and appreciation and gratitude. And so, I had this pivot about 7 years ago where I pivoted away from my definition of success was the revenue, the awards, the external. And I decided, what success for me is doing what I want, where I want, with whom I want, as often as I want to do it. So I bring that to Zambia and I tell that to them. And they're like, well, of course, that's the norm down here. That's the way you should live. I'm like, whoa, I had no idea. So to your point, it's like there's so much, we can have abundance anywhere you go. My purpose in life is to improve lives. I can improve lives by being on your show today. Hopefully someone hears one thing, they get a takeaway, an aha moment, a little nugget. Great. I have to go. I think I mentioned I got to go grocery shopping later. If I could talk to anybody in the grocery store and I'm having a conversation with somebody and I say one thing to get them unstuck, to get them clearing out, realize there is abundance and there isn't scarcity in every circumstance. That's a gift, and that makes me feel good. It makes them feel good, but it goes to the point of the perception we apply to our situation is so important.
Love it. Love it. Rich conversations. You said something before. You talked about whenever you coach someone, you start with kind of building their life, building their extraordinary life. It's not, the word awesome or extraordinary isn't like this is what it is. This is the dictionary of extraordinary life or awesome. It's building their awesome extraordinary life, and you talk about designing it, right? So whenever you meet with a client, where do you start with that? I mean, get me going. So I'm a client, and where do you kind of start?
Well, so what I find when people hire a coach, first of all, there has to be chemistry. And the chemistry comes from oftentimes, and my clients have reported to me, that they see something in my story or the way I do things that either they need or that they can so relate to. So I think part of being a coach is you got to show up and be authentic, transparent, and vulnerable. I've got to be seen. I've got to be heard. I've got to be known. And then I have the permission to have a conversation for fit. That's how I do it. And my coaching program is very hands-on because it is an extraordinary process. Because it's extraordinary, it's singular. So I meet all my clients exactly the same way. I treat them all the same. I treat them as individuals, and I meet them individually where they are. That's my universal mantra. So I start off by asking them what do they want and what's working and what's not working. And for me, it's work-life integration. I don't just coach them on a process like an EOS or a scaling up to put into their business. I use those tools. Those tools are valuable. In addition to those tools, I ask them, what's the bottleneck in your business? What's the bottleneck in your life? What's holding you back? I've been working with a client. I just talked to him this morning. It's taken him 3 years to figure out what's holding him back. We've had this conversation numerous times. And he goes, why haven't you ever said this to me before? Now there's two partners. His partner's looking at me, and I'm like, I've said this to you 100 times. You're finally ready to hear it. And his partner's like whacking him on the shoulder, like, dude, he's been telling you this for years. They've got to be ready. I've got to meet them where they are. So my process is I approach everything with massive curiosity. You want to have a $20 million company? Great. That's possible. I want to validate that because it is possible. How do we get you there? What's holding you back? I want to be curious around why you're not there yet, and double down and double down and double down. And then we can become massively accountable. So I talk to my clients once a week. I do quarterly planning sessions with them, and I'm available to them 24/7, 365 on text or email or call, because it's in the, why do I coach? Because those light bulb moments of awareness that I want to be a part of.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Have you ever been with a client where the very first meeting you say, what do you want? And they start to describe what they want, but then later on, months later, you realize that's not what they want at all? It's something completely different?
Nearly every time.
Okay.
Nearly every time. So they'll say what they want. And so I had a client. They hired me to help them grow and scale and sell. They wanted to sell their business within 5 years. I'm like, okay, this will be a 5-year engagement. Perfect. Happy to do it. Started working through what their issues were. So that was our original BHAG. We're going to sell this business within 5 years. Well, they weren't scaling. They weren't growing, and the owner was getting very, very frustrated. He had a leader on his team who wasn't doing his job. He was the chief marketing officer. Kind of important if you want to get customers, they have to know you exist. Yeah. And I said to the leader, because he's, again, losing his mind. I said, do you know the top 5 things this person needs to do their job successfully? Again, curiosity. He goes, absolutely. He lists them off like a list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. I said, coach, I understand that you need to do those, that he needs to do those things. We've talked to him numerous times about doing them. He says he's going to do them. He's giving you a false yes. Christopher Voss talks about this in his great book, Never Split the Difference. Mm-hmm. First yes is a false yes. You got to get them to the third yes. I said, all right, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go down the hallway, and I want you to have him start on that list of 5 things. He goes, okay, I'm going to do it. And I said, well, no, I can wait. And he goes, you want me to go do this right now? I said, yeah, I've been hearing lip service around this. Mm-hmm. Why won't you go do it? I don't know where he says, I'm afraid he's not going to do it. And when he doesn't do it, I'm afraid you're going to press me to fire him. And I'm a nice guy. Nice guys don't fire people. There's the root issue.
Yeah.
So we talked through his, because it's certainly uncomfortable. Yeah. Talked about that, because really when you fire someone, you're freeing them up to go do something they probably should already have been doing. Mm-hmm. People don't like change. To kind of wrap the story up, he does walk down the hall, tells them the 5 things, gets back on the phone. Okay, I told him, great, cool. I'm going to check in with you tomorrow and see how this is going. Well, what do you mean? Well, we've had this conversation numerous times. He's committed to doing it. Now let's see if he actually does it. And here's what I need you to do. I'm going to hold you accountable so you can hold him accountable. Are we in agreement? Yeah, perfect. Next day, text, how's it going? Didn't start yet. It's on a Thursday. Friday morning, I've already put a note in my phone, text client 4 p.m., see how the week concluded. Because again, I'm very invested in his success. Remember, This is his definition of an extraordinary life. This is what he wanted. I'm holding him accountable to what he wanted. Mm-hmm. If he doesn't want that anymore, that's okay. Mm-hmm. Change the goal. Friday morning, phone rings. I just want to let you know, let so-and-so go. Oh. 12 months later, revenue's up 70%, profits are up 500%. He decides doesn't want to sell the business anymore. He loves his business. His business now gives him energy versus taking energy. So kind of a long story, but when something gives us energy, we want to keep it in our lives. Yeah. When something depletes our energy, we want to get rid of it. We moved him from something that was sucking his energy like an energy vampire to something that was giving him energy like radiant sun. And now he's on a fast growth trajectory.
Thank you so much for checking out the Brett Snodgrass channel. If you like this video, please slam on that like button. And if you really like it, then subscribe to our channel here. And remember to leave us a comment below, and I'm going to try my hardest to reply to all the comments. Thank you guys so much. This is why I do what I do. Every single week, I come out with content that focuses on success, freedom, and living out your purpose. Thank you guys so much. See you next time.